Hi guys, lovely to see you guys again here. I am making this video because it's necessary. I have had this question asked to me a bunch of times. Why are you using Adobe Express as opposed to using Canva? And people assume that I don't have an answer for it, but I've answered it so much that I'm making a whole video with receipts, with breakdown, with facts, with all the reasons why I decide to use one much more than the other, decide to promote one much more than the other, decided to become an ambassador for the other, because that's the reality. Just so that you know, before I get into this video, Canva is an amazing tool. I use it as well. I've used it for about 2 to 3 years. And Adobe Express I've used for about 2 to 3 years, since it was Adobe Spark. So this is not me talking from a place of not using these tools. I've used both tools and I can see how they are good in their own way. But knowing that and understanding that, I can see why Adobe Express is the best option for me as a social media strategist and as a small business owner, as a small art business owner. So I want to walk you guys through the differences, how these two tools are different because they're so different. I want to walk you through the main three areas in which I need support when it comes to these tools and why I choose Adobe Express, and all you need to know about how these tools are actually different so that you can actually make an educated decision and make the choice that you need to make, because ultimately that's your choice. I'm just here to tell you why it works for me and how it works for me as not only the creator and the business owner that I am now, but who I want to be and how I want to grow. Because for me, growth is super important. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, let's start with the simple things. Side-to-side comparison. And this is just better bang for your buck, right? So I have two main businesses. I have my base way business, which is social media, strategy, management, all of that thing. That's my, I would say my tiny business. My small business though is my one-line art business, which is where I have, I would say 95% of my time or 90% of my time, and then 90% and then 10% I do social media work. And for that, I need several accounts. I run my social media on Adobe Express. Why? Because I schedule a lot of things and I can't schedule all of my accounts, so my two businesses, in one Canva Pro subscription. I can't. You can only connect one account per social media channel. So one Instagram, one Facebook, one Twitter, X, one LinkedIn. So for me, that's very exhausting because I would have to create one pro account for my Baseway and one pro account for my Ataveira account. So this doesn't make any sense for me, because then I would have to get out of one account to get into the other, and it's just not productive. If you are a person that hustles, a person that has several accounts, which on this day, in 2025, a lot of people have more than one Instagram account. Even if you use it personally, you would have more than one. And so for me, it was a no-brainer when it came to where I'm going to schedule my social media calendar. It's going to be in Adobe Express. I can have all my accounts. I can even have my personal one. So you can have up to 3 accounts on the paid version, and you can have one for free. So what you can have in Adobe Express for free, you can have it on the Canva paid version, basically. So no-brainer there. All right, the next reason why I would definitely always choose Adobe Express as opposed to Canva is growth. I've always expected, I always wanted my business to grow. I always wanted to work with bigger clients. I want to work with Apple. I want to work with, just brands. I want to work with known brands in the world. I want to grow. I want my drawings to be in their bottles. I have dreams, big dreams. And the only way to make those big dreams happen is to have tools and opportunities and know-how of how those businesses run, right? And on the few opportunities that I've had of working with big world clients, thank God, I have had to use Adobe tools because those are the industry standards. And if I'm not a designer and I know nothing about Illustrator or Photoshop or anything like that, my biggest bet is Adobe Express. Adobe Express has amazing interoperability capabilities. Interoperability is basically that, for example, I don't know how to use Illustrator too much. I don't. I use it on my iPad. And I design a drawing on my iPad. I make a drawing on Adobe Illustrator, and I can actually, through the cloud, import that into my Adobe Express, do a social media design with it, send it to a client, have the client know what I'm using. Hell, fonts, something as simple as fonts. You have, within your Adobe Express subscription, you have rights and to font usage that is fonts that is actually used in all of the big designs out there. Name a brand, find that brand designer, and you will know for a fact that they used an Adobe tool to design whatever is designed in that brand. And so I do not want to be the person that is not up to industry standards in a team of work. I don't want to be that business that people are like, oh no, she designed something on Canva, so she can't send the open file because Canva doesn't have open files for other things. So yeah, you can upload in PSD in Canva, but that doesn't assure that you're going to see the same thing on one side or the other. The industry standards are met by Adobe Express. I want to use Adobe Express. This is an example of a client that I'm working with that there were many instances, but these are just 3 in which I felt that I was so lucky to be using Adobe Express. First of all, in the first one, they asked me to use a specific font, and they asked me for the font, and I looked it up, and he's like, it's Acumen White Light, and does that make sense? And I'm like, yes, I have it. Give me a second. Of course, I'm trying to keep face because I don't know if I have it. And then I check, and it is an Adobe font. And because it is an Adobe font, it is available in Adobe Express. And I can import any PDF on Adobe Express and edit it with an Adobe font without any problems. So that was an easy go. And then I had the client ask me what font I used in one of my designs. And I was very happy to say that I used an Adobe font because I knew that they had another designer that worked with them that was going to kind of call me out if I used a font that wasn't properly used or that wasn't properly sourced, as in like with the right rights and the right industry standards. And then for the third example, they had a problem with something that needed to be changed that another designer did. And I was sure that I was going to have to use an Adobe Express file. And then it turns out that it was an AI file. And I discovered that because of interoperability, I was going to be able to ask that other designer to share that file with me through the cloud. And I was going to be able to import that file that was AI, that otherwise I wouldn't be able to import into Canva or import into Adobe Express as an AI file.
and I was able to import it through the cloud, through the Creative Cloud, and I was able to edit it in Adobe Express.
Another reason why I definitely would choose Adobe Express as opposed to Canva is because of AI. As an illustrator, you start to wonder if creating art to train AI models is what you want to be doing. And a lot of us creators are worried about how our art or our photography or our creations are used to train AI. In Adobe Express, first of all AI is trained with paid content. So the artists that are giving their art to train Adobe Fireflies, which is part of Adobe Express, part of Adobe artificial intelligence models, they are paid for their work. So not only are you using a tool that is ethically, I would say, created, you are actually using a tool that works. So Adobe Express's images that are created on AI are seamless. You don't have like crazy, extra fingers or extra teeth situations. So, and you have technology that is available on other platforms. So you're paying, for example, if you decide to only pay for the Adobe Express subscription and not the whole like suite, which is like Photoshop and all the other things, you still have access to artificial intelligence tools that are present in these other more complex and more expensive tools. So realistically, not only do you create good AI content, but you create you use it, with peace of mind. Again, you don't want to mess with legal, so you create these things in a way that you don't have to worry about whether you have the rights to use AI sourced content. So that's a no-brainer for me there. I think another basic thing that I prefer in Adobe Express as opposed to Canva is the fact that I don't need to create a separate file for a social campaign. As I told you before, I do social media strategy and social media content creation, and I can't count the amount of times that I've had to work with the same design in 5 different files because I have it in 5 different sizes. In Adobe Express, you have something called multi-pages, which allows you to resize the same file, resize the same content in the same file in different pages. So your content would look like this as opposed to this. And I love it because at the end of the day, it saves me a lot of time, which takes me to the issue of time. I'm a mom. I'm a business owner. I am a person that wants to have some time for art. I'm a wife. And I want to have time for myself. So time is the least thing. It's the biggest commodity in my line of work. So any second I can save, I'm going to go for it. And the amount of time I save between interoperability, social media scheduling, and multi-pages is incredible. It's amazing. So when someone comes and tells me that they want to use Canva instead of Adobe Express, great, you do you. But that's not going to be my stance. I can save myself from legal problems. I can save myself from wasting time while working with brands on a higher level than I am. And all of that while getting seamless and amazing AI content that I don't feel guilty for using for me, it is a very easy decision. And so if you're wondering whether you should be investing your time and money and effort in learning how to use Canva or learning how to use Adobe Express, I suggest you do the latter. These are more than enough reasons, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, one of the real things that I decided to do this year was to focus more on editing my video on Adobe Express as well. I'm going to focus my learning process on learning how to do my whole workflow of video creating content on Adobe Express as well. Because there's too many situations in which, like, oh, there's a TikTok ban, oh, there's a CapCut ban, and Adobe Express has so many cool video making features that if I manage to put all my workflow into that app alone, I'm gonna save so much money, so much time, so much effort, and very likely a lot of headaches of wondering whether they're going to block that app or not, because I don't think that's gonna happen. Adobe is an American business. So I could say so much about this platform for so long. I didn't even get into add-ons, which I should make a separate video for. But yeah, if you have any doubts, I hope this video helped you clarify them. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message here on Instagram, anywhere, and I'll gladly answer it. Bye.